So that's another way to call it. So when we piggyback those VCRs together, we were talking about output and input. Same thing here. So this AC converter box acts as an output device for video, and it tells you video out, audio out, video in, and audio in. So I can plug this into the wall, and if my VCR has these RCA type input channels, I can connect this to my VCR. Or I can connect it to another a monitor to look at what I'm shooting at. I can take a monitor in the field that has the same input. Okay? Then why don't you ask me what this is?
Everybody see it?
Does everybody see this? Does anybody wonder what this is?
Isn't that like the coax cable, like from like 75
Ohms?
Yeah.
Yeah, resistance. See that?
The what? The cold.
You know how you have a VCR and like you could use all these funny little what do you just call them? RC.
RC, but this is RC.
But this one is like, you know how you just take that one funny black thing and put it onto the back of your television?
Precisely.
And it knocks out all that other stuff that you have.
Right. Remember you was talking about
instead of in-out,
putting the VCR out the box and
joint that you put on.
letting your kids do it because it gets too complicated. But for the consumer who's not as proficient of putting together devices, they give you a single cable, and this is what this is. You can put a single cable. It says like in from antenna and out to antenna. Mm-hmm. It's what's called a radio frequency cable, RF for short, radio frequency. All right. So you just plug it into here, and then it goes into your input to your VCR or television set monitor. One of the most important things, again, is how the video and audio signal is transmitted. You get that? Remember I spoke about lines of resolution, picture definition. These two signals here are separated when it comes out the camera. The video, obviously the video is going through one cable, the audio is going through another cable. So they have a separate paths. But this bad boy here combines both in a single conductor. So although the interference might not be noticeable to the human eye, you don't get the most pristine image because you're combining audio with audio, you see, so you don't get the best. So they market it for consumers, so they can get up and running fast.
Is that why when you tape and let's say your antenna's knocked askew, because you have that one cable, if the picture's messed up then the sound is messed up also, and if you had two different, you might have the picture and not the sound?
Yeah, because they travel, they both pass. And then don't forget, we're covering the very bare essentials. There's other cable schemes. There's what they call, and that camera is more sophisticated, we'll get to it later. They have what they call an S-video cable, S-VHS cable, that separates different components of the video.
It's the same as this camera here.
Yeah, oh, it's right here.
I keep looking over there. All I'm seeing is light.
So what happens is that over here, you see the picture element through the electronics has different characteristics, and I mentioned that before. There's what they call chrominance, and that's the color rendition. It handles the color. And then there's luminance. It handles the light. What does luminate mean? To enlighten, to light up. So they have cables that separate these two components on the video end, so they travel their own paths.
So is that used with this camera?
Yeah, that has super VHS.
Yeah,
that
I'm talking about that one.
No, that's low grade.
But only certain cameras.
Yeah, that's low grade. Most super VHS cameras have this S video component to separate different characteristics of video, so they travel their own paths. Because one of the most essential things in this field is transmission. If you transmit a signal, how do you keep the original information intact, the intelligence? All right, that gets into telecommunications and voice technology too. In the early days of radio, you get noise through the line, you get echo. So these engineers said, wait a minute, let's develop different type of circuitry to clean up the sound, to enhance it. Now we got fiber optics that's going to change everything, which is more cleaner signal. So when you deal with the video signal with S video out, the light portion of the image and the color portion, they're traveling their own path. So obviously, they're both traveling their own path, they're isolated from each other. Eventually, later on, they're going to be recombined. So they get recombined when it reaches the destination, whether it be another VCR, a monitor, whatever.
But if you do it that way, how do you know you have enough of everything? Is that where the editing comes in later? You can adjust
No,
that?
that has nothing to do with editing. That has to do with the electronics. That is totally transparent to you. All you need to know is that this particular cable that I'm talking about, Super VHS, is a small little black cable, can connect to this. It's called Y/C. Y is luminance, the light portion. C is the color portion, prominence. All you have to know is that it gives you a clear image. That's
So
all.
that's in the taping, not in the editing. You're saying in the original
That
taping?
is in the transmission or the transfer
Of the image?
of the image somewhere else. So they carry their own
So
path.
there's nothing you can do about that in editing? In other words? This is about the original image.
It's about the original image, precisely. It's about that transfer.
Of
It's
the
about
original
of the
image to
original.
the tape?
Of the original on the tape. Yeah, so they travel I'm gonna try to make it as easy as possible for you to understand this by hands-on training. But some trends are unavoidable, okay? Just because of the nature of the discussion and how we're moving. All right? So if I lose you, let me know. A lot of these are electronic terms. And I don't think I'm losing you neither.
Do we need to really know the electronics? I mean,
Well-
without knowing?
Well, I wanted to show, in order for me to explain something, you have to have something relative to measure against a standard. So if you want to give good storytelling enactments, good pictorial continuity, you want to have a clean image. So I have to show you the differences in how signals are transmitted. Radio frequency, you got the audio and the visual, video moving on the same line. So it's not as clean. They're traveling through the same wire. So you're going to get some kind of like interference, but it's so unperceptible to the human senses that it doesn't really matter to a normal home user. But to a person that's been in the field long enough that can see little drops and glitches that other people cannot see because of training, then it is very critical. Now, if you transfer a tape from here to another deck for editing and you use this RF, you know where it's going to show up? When you start making copies of that. Then you're going to see the pictures are going to wash out. It's going to look like, damn, the tape's been around for 15 years. But if you separate different components of the video image, like I spoke about, luminance and prominence, and let the audio travel its own path, so they're traveling their own path, so the signal retains its original. And then it holds up when it gets to its destination, whether that be a Super VHS deck, a high 8 deck, or another television monitor, it holds up, okay? So that's why I'm showing you these different ways of transferring this video and audio information.
So you're saying shortcuts, when you take shortcuts, you sacrifice the quality.
Yeah, that's usually the case too.
But that depends on how good you want the picture to be. I mean, sometimes you can take the shortcut.
Sure. Like, if the brother's gonna do some kind of case here to interview a client, he just wants essentials of that interview. He doesn't need no quality because it might be confidential. He might not want to show it to nobody, but he needs to at least have it on tape. So it's not going to win no aesthetic award. So it could be, it could be good for that. But if he's going to do a documentary on him, then he wants to get some clean images, especially if you want to go PBS.
But at the same time, that tape that originally may not have been something he's going to use in the long run may then be retaped because maybe it's for a sentencing project now. And when it's going to be shown to a judge, and so he's had to edit it and retape.
Right.
So then in that case, it's just good to know about the different options, right? So that you know that they're there if you want to use them, if you want to really tape high quality.
Right, and then again, he can use the low quality for court. What they're going to do with it? They just need its evidence. You could use it for that. It's not going to be broadcast throughout New York metropolitan area, it's just going to be used for that in-house. So you can get away with low quality. But just make sure the essence of the audio is clean. You see? It's strange, but audio is harder to perceive audio quality than it is to perceive video. You see? So if you can use a good microphone with this deck and get good audio as well as that, but you're not going to get the same visual image. So you want to make sure, no matter what you shoot, you get good audio. Continuity, clean audio.
Now, that camera is that one up there, right?
Yeah.
And you said something, in the beginning, you were talking about something that's on top, with the lighting or whatever, when we just started.
Oh, yeah, I was talking about the, this is called like a saddle shoe, and you can put a sun gun lamp, a portable lamp,
Right.
and just
Like that
screw it
one?
on, like that one over there, and screw it on.
What is that called?
It's a saddle shoe.
Okay,
It's like a saddle on a horse. It just fits right in,
okay.
and it just screws in.
And
You can put a light on top of it, or another
sun
light.
gun, you said?
Sun gun, portable light.
Okay.
Sun gun. And then
Sun
there's
is an S-U-N or S-U-N-G?
S-U-N. It's not Korean. She got nerve.
No, I think you said Sunny. Well, I guess
No, that's
I told you I'm a little bit of this.
some so this is it, right? So this can also serve as a third function, right? It could be used to recharge batteries. All right, so you leave it overnight, and then you shoot, think about the next person, put it to charge. It has a input select here, and then just plug it into the wall, and the charge light should come on, along with the power light. Okay?
And that device is called what?
AC converter.
AC converter. It converts your household 120 volts down to 12 volts. Okay? Because this thing operates in low voltage.
So if you were trying to transcribe the sort of, you were trying to get as exact as you could to what the eye, you would not have seen, you would have recommend that YC, that black cable, right?
Yeah,
You
but
would say just use the separate, use the audio and the visual, the separate cables.
yeah, when you transfer. You see, that's what's called transfer. They use this word a lot, transfer. You're dubbing. You're dubbing or transferring. So, I mean, the camera, if you put a tape in here, you got in the field, you could either record from this mic, which is usually made very cheap, so, but it's an extraordinary camera, it's very beautiful. You might want to come with a your own microphone, to conduct interviews, or a small clip-on. I can show you that later. But don't forget, the video and the audio is being recombined to just go on this tape together. You get me? But when you want to come in to do editing, you don't want to edit on this. Fortunately, you have a high 8 deck that you just fit in and you can transfer it. Or you can actually put this into the high 8 deck and start building on a super VHS or another VHS tape. But if you want to transfer from the camera, you got to connect it to one of the decks and then use what I just said, the YC cable, to separate different characteristics of the video component. You see, and that YC should be somewhere along here. Where is it? Where's the one on the back?
Right there.
On the side, right? Here it is, right? This is the lens.
Yeah.
Okay, see? They have it protected. It's really nice and neat. See? It says S video. You see? So each of these little dots here. See, like that cable is black and it's thin, so it has like 4 wires inside. So the luminance parts goes along one wire, which is inside, and the chrominance goes along another wire. And the other ones are for other functions. And then there's also other names for these kind of connectors. I can give you those later. I don't want to intimidate you. Deck, right. What is that? Remember, that high 8 deck is already set for Super VHS, or What kind of signal? It's just a regular transfer, right? If there was a transfer,
Yeah.
it's set for the highest quality transfer, right?
Honestly.
That's Romel. He's my assistant. He's a good engineer, good technician.
S video and SVHS are the same thing.
Same thing. Or they might call it Y/C. All right? So it's terms that we're going to get familiar with, terms that will never leave you intimidated again in life, and terms that should help you in your professional endeavors. Because you're going to tackle this electronic age. Your children will glorify you for keeping up with the spatial technology, and you won't be like your grandmother, who, if she was to walk out of her grave right now, she might have to go back into her grave the way things are moving. She might think it's voodoo electronics in this modern world. But we're here, so we got to deal with it. And the sooner you learn about it, the sooner your kids will remain competitive for the future. But anyway, getting back to this camera, it has eject. All right, most of you have seen the eject buttons. Don't forget that a lot of models have their own characteristics in terms of design. Sony might make their own design. Panasonic, Toshiba, and other camera manufacturers. So there's different design characteristics, okay? I mean, it's like a Buick or a Chevrolet. I mean, most cars need engines, right? So is the engine already patented? They're all using it, but they might have little different characteristics. But the essential properties of how the combustible engine operates is still there. So all these different manufacturers gets to using that patent, you see? So same thing with this. The essential characteristics for different makes of cameras are still there, all right? But they might have little different features in each and every one of them, but the components are still the same. Regardless of the most advanced camera that you may have, if you haven't worked on shot selection, or you don't know pictorial continuity, or you don't know how to shoot to edit, or you don't know how to light, that stage age camera might not mean a thing. Okay, you can have the most sophisticated cameras and get nothing out of it because you haven't developed these ways of doing things. All right? It's like driving a Mercedes-Benz when you're not that good at driving. It's going to crash. It's going to tear it up. All right?
Now, before you were saying, you said that if there's no tape in there, you can still record and then, you said that?
Well, in some of these VCRs, if you're going to send the signal, so you have to send the signal out through here. What is this called again?
AC converter.
Right. So you plug it up and you send the signal out to another VCR. On some decks, you have to keep the door open because some cameras might go on standby after 5 minutes. And the reason that happens is because they really don't want you to wear out the battery. So it conserves some of the battery.
Right.
So it goes on standby. But, so you might want to open the door if you're going to record it in another device. So you're just sending the signal out somewhere. So to keep it from going from standby, you leave the door open.
But it doesn't record there. It has to be hooked up to something else that
To record.
on.
Right. Right? Don't you notice sometimes when you put on the camera, after 5 minutes of non-use, the screen goes blank or you might not see anything because it goes on standby to conserve the juice. So if you're going to send a signal out through the AC converter, you want continuous recording. You don't want it to go on standby. So one mechanism is to keep the door open. You see? It's just a troubleshooter. It's just an option. So, yeah.
Can we take a 5-minute break?
No, I'm on the road.
2-minute break?
Don't if you get me coffee.
Can we take a cigarette break?
Yes! No, do the team fit. She knows it, you will say.
And then, like, when we come back, you can show us, you know.
Yeah.
how we can get
Okay,
there.
good. Yeah, okay.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, right? Okay, you will be back, right?
Yeah.
You want to let me down?
Okay.
Okay.
I have one question for you.
Yeah. Will the Rangers beat the Vancouver Canucks?
Can you answer that one?
Can't answer that one, no.
Is there any way to get an eyepiece for, I mean, I guess I'm these parents, if I was, I only have, I can only like look at my left eye, on the right eye. Like,
They do sell them for left-handed people. Would that be like the left-handed person?
left hand, maybe it's left hand, left eye, and right, left
That's
left
a
eye.
good-
I
So
can't,
wait, which eye is good?
well, this eye. So like when I hold it, yeah, when I hold it like this, I can't,
Yeah.
I can't look at it.
That's rough.
That's like-
They do sell, I know, it's hard to deal with. Really. But you know what they sell? You know what they sell? They sell for about, what, $20? They sell like monitors that you actually put up here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they sell them.
So I know you can spread this out.
Yeah, but this not gonna go far enough for you, right? It's not gonna go far enough.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, it's careless, it's clumsy, right?
Maybe they do have an extender type of thing, you know?
But I'll
Because
take-
then can that disconnect?
Yeah, you can disconnect this probably, I can take a look at it. But they do sell the small monitors, and they even color monitors. That you can connect the cable to replace this.
And so basically, what I'm
Get a better
doing,
look.
I can put the earphones in here like you were showing, because I was having a hard time with that one. The earphones for high H too?
Yeah, it should be, yeah.
I
Yeah,
have a
sure.
hard time finding out if the volume is actually working. If there's a problem with the volume, I just wait until you have your break in here.
No, go ahead. No, it's all right.
There's a,
Well, the break doesn't start yet then.
there's a problem with the volume, like,
Yeah.
because usually you can tell if this thing's working or not.
Right. Right.
Put your earphones in, if you don't hear anything, it's because it's not taping, or, you know what I'm saying?
It could be on standby mode. But if this thing is deflecting, that means there is sound somewhere. But there's different types of
We
recording.
had an extension microphone, a small little
The lavaliers.
lavalier thing. Yeah,
It could be the mic, it could be on, see, they have different, this is like PCM, that stands for pulse code modulation. It's a different way of laying down your audio track. See, that's PCM mode. Then there's amplitude frequency modulation. So there's different, there's different ways of doing it. But you have to show me exactly what went down with that problem.
I mean, I was in here, it was hooked up to the power, I think, or maybe we were on that. And we were filming, but no sound.
Were you recording from here?
Oh, when you were using lavalier?
Yeah.
That was because of lavalier is the fact that so when you were recording, you had it as a PCM track, so it was only recording on PCM because you didn't have, there was no, the lavalier wasn't working, so it wasn't sending the signal. But I figured,
Lavalier,
I know where it happened. I know
lavalier is a
where it happened.
small microphone that they use like in talk shows.
Right.
And some lavaliers have like batteries, like solar batteries, solar cell batteries. And some just operate off of what they call phantom voltage or phantom power from a sound mixer board. But you got to connect it into that board.
So you didn't get any sound, so
Yeah, it's
how
kind of
did you know? How did you know it was defective, John? Was that the
Because I tested it out, that's the problem. It needs to be, it's actually
Yeah, it's
probably just factory.
it's a L-I-E-R. It's a French term.
One word.
Is there a way to record on PCM and AFM at the same time? So you can use your onboard and use your two other mics?
PCM, I think you have to default to one. You might have to default to one.
You can record
You have to default to one. It's impossible to use both. And then again, it depends on the output. You can send multiple output from one source into different VCR decks.
Right.
It depends on which output port you're using. You ready? I'm gonna take a break. Excuse me.
Hey, you have 2 minutes now.
No, that's 7.
There's another question I have for you, John. Can you get one of these with a heavy power zoom?
Yeah.
Like this has got a good zoom, right?
Yeah.
But like, I can't afford this.
Well, how much you want to spend for a camera?
Well, I don't want to spend anything until